Today's episode is sponsored by Mil Usos Skincare and Limitless Tape.
Ladies, how would you like to spend the weekend with 250 other female grapplers? Well, guess what? You can do just that. Check out rollmodelswanted.com. That's ROLL modelswanted.com and use code CHOKE50 for $50 off your 2026 Role Model Women's Only Grappling Camp in Indianapolis, Indiana, running July 10th through 12th, 2026.
What are you doing today, Shannon? Are you working?
Yeah, so I'm actually at the gym. I came to the gym a little early, just needed to get it cleaned up, blow off the mat, clean up, just vacuum, get the place ready to go. So yeah, I mean, they're at home or I'm at the gym. So getting ready, I'll teach the kids at 5 and then I'll have the adult training at 6. So just hanging out in here right now, wait for the little guys to get here. And then in the meantime, I get to hang out and talk with you guys and talk jiu-jitsu. I'm super excited.
I'm Jenn.
And I'm Mal. Welcome to Chokeholds and Chill.
Okay, today we're sitting down with Shannon White, second degree Brazilian Jiu Jitsu Black Belt, owner and head coach of True Art BJJ, and someone with over 30 years of grappling and wrestling experience. Shannon's been teaching Jiu Jitsu for more than a decade while also balancing life as a husband, a father, and a full-time gym owner.
Shannon's one of those coaches who quietly shapes solid humans on the mats, not just competitors. We're excited to talk about where he comes from, how jiu-jitsu found him, and how he's managed to build something sustainable and balancing his family life, jiu-jitsu life, and keeping your sanity. Welcome to Chokeholds and Chill, Shannon. We're so happy to have you.
I'm super excited to be here. I'm really, really excited. I think this is like my 4th or 5th podcast I've ever been on. So I'm really, really excited to talk with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited to have you because obviously we connected through our friend John. And he's just told us the best things about you. So we can't wait to, hear more. Hear your story.
So let's start at the beginning, Shannon. Where did you grow up and what was life like for you as a kid?
Yeah, so I'm from Northeast Ohio. I was born in Akron. I grew up in like a little suburb of Akron called Greene. And it's a nice little place to grow up, really safe city. My dad was a carpenter. My mom worked as a loan processor. When I was a young kid, I did different sports. I was in baseball. I got involved in wrestling when I was like 5 or 6 years old. I raced BMX bikes. So I was a pretty active kid. I ended up focusing on wrestling a lot more, I think, than anything else. So that was a major part of growing up was competing in wrestling. And I did that all the way through high school. And yeah, just, growing up, I feel like I was a pretty normal kid. I was never the popular kid. I was never, the best athlete. I was never, the one everybody always talked about, but I learned from wrestling, to work really hard and, you'll get what you earn instead of what you think you deserve. So I was very fortunate that I found wrestling at a young age. Because it has helped me through many things in my life. So growing up with that and, I made a lot of good friends through that sport. It's taught me a lot. So, very, very fortunate.
Was there something specifically that drew you into wrestling, like family or your friends doing it?
Yeah. So my cousin, Stanley, he was a wrestler. He wrestled at a really small school in like Southern Ohio. And he was a wrestler. And, to be honest, when I started wrestling, I thought wrestling was like WWE. Like I thought that's what it was. So I'm like, I got to my first practice. I'm like, well, wait a second. Where's the chairs at? Where are the ladders? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? Like, when do I get to Stone Cold Stunner someone? And that wasn't what it was. Yes. So quickly, that was an indicator of it wasn't what I expected. But I think what really drew me to wrestling over like baseball, for example, because my mom, loved baseball. I liked baseball because probably in like the late 90s, the Cleveland Indians were really good. And so I was a big baseball fan. Ken Griffey Jr. was my favorite player. But
Nice.
I just remember playing and, like sometimes like I always had good coaches, but sometimes like I was probably the worst kid on a really good travel baseball team. Like you had to try out hundreds of kids. I ended up making it, but I was probably the worst kid on a really good team. I was good enough to be there, but we would lose games and our coach would get upset at us. And I'd be like, like I didn't even get a chance to play. You know what I mean? Like I don't really feel like I'm a loser. Like I didn't even get a chance to bat. Maybe I would have caught that fly ball or whatever the case is. And I liked in wrestling that it's just me and you. And if you want my spot, you got to come take it from me. And I just love the physicality aspect of wrestling. It's as close as I think you can get to fighting without actually being fighting.
Yeah.
And it's just the feeling of dominating another person, like making them wilt under the pressure you can put on them. And that feeling, I said that to my wife one time. She's like, that's kind of sick. I was like, maybe a little bit, but
if you don't get it though, it does sound a little odd.
It does. It very much does. But I was very, very fortunate, to find such a good sport for me. And I think that's honestly why I just stuck with it, is just something that, I had friends that were doing it. I met a lot of really good people along the way. And I just like the competitive aspect of it, the one-on-one. It's all on me. If I win, I can't point the finger at anybody else. And, if I lose, I can't point the finger at anyone else. And if I win, it's on me. So I really, really enjoy that part of the sport for sure. I think it's a great sport for young men and young women now. So it's great.
Yeah, so how did your wrestling and grappling, how did that lead to jiu-jitsu? When did you begin that journey?
So when I was 18, I was recruited to wrestle at a university pretty local to my house. I passed the NCAA clearinghouse, which is like, you essentially, that is like the clearinghouse essentially assesses you to make sure that you could be a student athlete. Like you have the grades to be obviously a student first, right?
Right.
So I was fine there. But I was in my basement playing pool, and my parents came downstairs and like, hey, do you want to wrestle anymore? And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, you don't have to wrestle in college if you don't want to. And it wasn't like they were trying to talk me out of it. They just were, just wanted to see if I wanted to do it or if it was just something I was doing because I had done it so long.
Right.
And wrestling had me wound really tight. It's a sport that you have to have a lot of discipline, and obviously it's self-discipline.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where they're like, well, why don't you try this other university? You can go here. You already have credits from high school. If you want to go there, go on a visit. And if you want to go there a year or, a semester, and if you want to wrestle, then transfer. But if not, don't feel you have to go wrestle. And I'm like, okay. So I ended up going to a different university on a visit, liked it a lot. And I just remember like getting freedom for the first time where I could eat whatever I wanted, on Christmas break. And I remember like my professor, we were talking when I was a freshman, she's like, what do you guys look forward to the most on Thanksgiving? And she asked me, and I'm like, I don't know. I haven't had one for like 7 years. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I wrestled, during Thanksgiving, that's when we're cutting weight. You know what I mean? We're trying to get down to weight. So that was really odd for me to be able to be like, oh, I'm going to eat everything. So, I never wanted to go back, but it was really hard to turn that competitive mindset off, right? I've been wrestling hundreds of matches my whole life. So it's like, well, I need to find something to do. And my friend Dom at the time, he was doing jiu-jitsu at a gym. It's still around today. It's in the Canton area called East Coast Martial Arts. And he's like, hey, dude, I'm doing jiu-jitsu. Like I watched MMA in high school. And he's like, I watched the very first season of The Ultimate Fighter. And he's like, hey, dude, I'm doing jiu-jitsu. You should come do jiu-jitsu with me at this gym. And I'm like, okay, cool, man. So I go, and I fucking hated it. I absolutely fucking hated it because I got the shit beat out of me. Not like they hurt me or anything, but like
just smashed.
Oh my God. Like I was like, in my mind, I was like, this is bullshit.
Was it a knee class?
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, what? I gotta wear. What am I wearing these fucking pajamas for? What is this thing? What is this thing? So anyway, I got just absolutely fucking mauled, choked. I got caught in probably 50 triangles.
Oh,
that's like the ultimate wrestler killer submission, right? And I fucking hated it. But I will say this: like, I think the competitive aspect in me is like, I really don't like being bad at things that I actually maybe care about, but for whatever reason, like I was so bad at jiu-jitsu and I tried to tell myself that I didn't care about it, but I knew I did. So I'm like, you got to just not be a bitch and go back and just get the shit kicked out of you, and eventually you'll get good, right?
Yes.
And you know, like I remember like rolling with Johnny, because at the time Johnny was a blue belt and I was a white belt, and he has a completely different account of fucking me rolling with him when I started and when I rolled with him, because like he would fucking mount me and then would just like roll over into the close guard because he would get bored. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm listening to this and I'm like, that never fucking happened. Like, I'm like, he would just fucking bump sweep me to the mount and then would be like, okay, just get back on top. You know, so it was definitely an experience. You know, it was so different from wrestling, but that's what I think I loved the most about it, was that I got to make it what I wanted. You know, jiu-jitsu is one of those things. It's such a blank canvas and you can do with it as you choose.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really drew me to it. It had that one-on-one aspect that I loved about wrestling, and I could do that in this sport, but it wasn't as much pressure as I think wrestling in college would have been, as opposed to jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And so I was very fortunate there to find a good school that really had a program that was trying to grow, be legitimate. And, I was very fortunate. So, cause at that time, you know, I live in Northeast Ohio, like jiu-jitsu wasn't nearly as developed, obviously, as it is now.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I was very, very lucky, very lucky.
Yeah. So as far as like those first few months training, so at what point were you feeling a little bit better? Like you were like, I'm in this.
I kind of know it.
I kind of get it. Like, did you have like an aha moment where you were like, yeah, let's fucking go?
I would say that probably was like after my first tournament. I did my first jiu-jitsu tournament probably 3 months into jiu-jitsu.
Nice.
It was in the gi and it was submission only.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, I only knew like 2 submissions. So I'm like, if I don't get one of these 2, like the timer ticked up instead of down, because it was no time limit, submission only. So I'm like, well, this is bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? So granted, I was a white belt at the time, but I'm like, fuck, man. So I would say after that first tournament, like the first time in a competition, I tapped someone.
Nice.
And, you know, I don't think it was like a moment where I knew what the fuck I was doing, but I really felt like I really liked it. So I really enjoy it. I think that moment of finding when jiu-jitsu clicks for people is different for everybody. Just it depends on your skill level, depends on your mental capacity and those things.
Yeah.
But I would say like jiu-jitsu really didn't click for me really well, probably until I was well into like being a blue belt, I would say.
Yeah.
Blue belt, purple belt, I would say around there. And everyone's going to be different. Some people can do it late into white belt and some people can do it slower. It just depends, right? But I would say realistically for me, I think that's when it started to click for me. And I think everybody's different, but I would say definitely after my first tournament, that was like the kind of, you get bit by the bug. And I was like, I really want to continue to compete and do this as often as I can. So that was that point.
Man. And how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu at this point? Like today?
Oh my God. I started in 2009. So now I've been going 17 years.
Okay.
Wow. I graduated high school in 2009. That was a good year.
Same.
I got married in 2009. Wow. Look at us with these 2009 dates. What about jiu-jitsu? What keeps you still doing it after all this time? Because, you know, you've already surpassed how long you were wrestling for, right? Like that's already gone. Why are you still doing it?
Because I love it. I think that's just, I have to be around it. Cause like, I would say like I have, and not a lot of people really know this about me, but like some people do, but like I have like pretty bad, like anxiety. I don't have depression, but like I have anxiety pretty bad. And like jiu-jitsu really helps regulate that for me. Like, it keeps me calm, you know. It very much helps me in times when I feel like I'm down or maybe I'm losing my shit.
Yeah.
But it really does help, you know, kind of keep me focused, and it gives me just another motivation to get up. Like I'm very fortunate. I get up every day and I fucking love to go to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love to see my friends and my training partners and all these guys and girls that make up this gym. And I'm very fortunate to do this for a living, but I think what keeps me going is, you know, obviously my family, you know, this is how I make a living, and, obviously the love for the sport, but when my wife and I started this place, we started it on a credit card. So it was like that sink or swim.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like it was like, when somebody puts a knife to your throat like that, you have that feeling like I'm either going to make it or this is it. Right.
Yeah.
So, I worked so hard to get it to where it is now, and it's like, I'm not going to let it go. You know what I mean? So it's definitely something that motivates me, is just that sweat that I put into it, literally the blood, all the surgeries. But it's just the love of the sport.
Yeah.
It's done so much for me in my life, and I've met some incredible people along the way. And, to be honest, I don't even know if I can fucking work for somebody else now at this point.
Right?
Fucking awful employee. But it's just, it's everything that encompasses jiu-jitsu keeps me in it, keeps me motivated. And it's just like that next person that comes through the door, that's a blank canvas that I'm going to try to turn into a monster and make them good. Just a better version of themselves, I think really is what is a massive part of it. So,
yeah.
So at what point in your jiu-jitsu career did you start coaching?
Very early, probably around, like when I was a blue belt, I was like, doing some classes here and there at the gym, because again, jiu-jitsu wasn't like what it is today back then, obviously, just because, I didn't see a black belt in jiu-jitsu until I was like a year into training, and it was at a tournament, and they were like in street clothes. So they were just in like, so like, it wasn't really one of those things like, you walk into my gym now tonight and there's probably going to be like 7 or 8 black belts training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I didn't see one for quite a long time. So, you just had what you had. And so I was, coaching some classes here and there, at blue belt, just even a few years in, but nothing crazy. I wasn't a full-time. It was just, maybe like once a week. Then started doing some kids. So it wasn't, I would say probably about 2 years into jiu-jitsu, I was 2.5 years. I was like doing classes here and there, nothing crazy. Most of the time it was just like wrestling for jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Like takedowns and a gi, stuff like that. It wasn't super technical stuff. It was just, getting to the mat safely type things.
Right. When did you open the gym?
2018.
So so 9 years in?
So you've done competition, you've coached competitors, and now you oversee the whole academy. How did your competition shape you as a jiu-jitsu practitioner and as a coach?
It gives me like a different perspective. And don't get me wrong, you don't have to be a competitor to be a good coach. I don't think that that's necessary. Does it help? For sure. I think it does. I mean, it does have an advantage for sure, but is it like you have to be that? No. I think the biggest advantage of being a competitor is like this idea of, when like right now, I haven't competed in jiu-jitsu in a long time, but I'm registered now for the IBJJF Indianapolis Open. I haven't competed in jiu-jitsu in, oh my God, probably 8 years.
Nice.
And, I've won at every belt rank except black belt. So I have to win now black belt. I got to do that for myself.
Sure.
But it's one of those things. I think the biggest thing with being a competitor is I tend to really tell the guys and the girls that are training for competition to not so much focus on winning and losing, because winning and losing is really not, as much as people may think. I don't really think that's very much in your control. I think what you have control of is your performance and your preparation. And that's really what I focus on as a competitor and as a coach is, listen, I'm not really going to focus so much on winning and losing this matches. I'm just going to go out and try to make sure that if I pull guard, I'm right to my grips and right to my setups. If I'm in the top, I get my passing sequences and my pins going far before he's able to get his guard going. My sequences or my transitions are sharp. My back takes are crisp. My top pressure is on point. My submissions are tight and unescapable. So I think that's what we tend to focus on more. And I think that comes from being a competitor.
Yeah.
And
I think that comes from
I
wrestling.
For sure. I mean, years of doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's like, I know how they feel. Cause you're not going to win every match that we go to. And I tell the guys that we're going to win matches, we're going to lose matches. But when these guys and girls, if they lose, I can look at them and say like, I know how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I 110% know that feeling you have right now.
Yeah, we were just talking about than how sometimes, like oftentimes, losses teach you more
way more.
than wins do.
I would definitely say that, you know, the thing that winning will do for you is it's going to motivate you so much more.
Oh, yeah.
Because like, for example, like, I don't even know how many medals I have in jiu-jitsu. Like I couldn't tell you. They're in a box in my basement. I have no idea. But the only medal that I have that I look at every day, because it's in my top drawer of my dresser, is a bronze medal that I got in Chicago in like 2012, because I got submitted in like a minute, like 30 seconds. I got choked, unconscious, face down, ass up.
Damn.
Yeah. And like, absolutely, it was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. And I will tell you that every day I see that thing and it just fucking pisses me off so bad. But it's such a motivating thing. It's like, if do you want to feel like that again?
Right.
No, then you better get your shit together. So it's, you know, being a competitor helps, but it does. But I think it's just, you know, I know how you need to train to be successful. Cause I always tell the guys and the girls, like, you guys are going to compete how you train. Very few people in jiu-jitsu can go out there in a tournament and just turn it on, where like they don't really train that hard and they're just like, okay, I can go out here and be successful, where I don't think that's very common. That's like 1 in a million people can do that. So that's a big thing, is just, you know, knowing how you need to train, how you need to prepare, not just physically, but mentally. You know what I mean? Like we try to mimic competition in this gym as much as we can, you know, like, you know, I'll turn up, you know, during competition training, like I'll take the speaker in the gym and I'll turn that thing up almost as loud as it'll go with just crowd noise. It'll be like, you can turn on like Ohio State football stadium and it'll just be people screaming. So you can't hear anything. It's just noise. So you get used to that fear of not being able to hear, and, you know, going when you're tired, you know, mimicking, you know, like match simulations in the gym and stuff like that. And it just comes from experience and what I think you guys are going to run into when you're out there competing. Because the last thing I want is for it to be a surprise.
Right.
I don't want you to go out there and not know what to do. I don't want you to go out there and not be prepared, and then you have a bad performance. You know, that's the last thing I want. So
what's been your most memorable coaching moment from competitions?
Oh man.
We're really digging deep here today.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Like, probably the first one is when, probably the most memorable is when my training partner Ben, and I people say like my students, you know, I call them my training partners.
Yeah.
You know, because they are, you know, they are my training partners. Like these guys, like my training partner Ben, he won the Masters Worlds. He's the very first medal to go up on the wall here at the gym. He won the Masters Worlds at Master 1 Brown Belt Super Heavy, and he tore through his division, like tapped almost everybody, you know, be the number 1 ranked guy, the number 1 ranked seed.
Wow.
And, you know, it was cool, like in the sense just to see, like, you know, at the time our gym was smaller than it is now. Like it was only like our mat was only like 1,000 square foot.
Oh, that's
you know
totally,
what I mean? And our gym was only like 1,500 square feet total. And like, we don't have a sign. We don't have any advertisements. And we're this small, tiny, we're on the second floor of a plaza. You know what I mean? We're not some massive jiu-jitsu academy, but like this guy from Northeast Ohio, from a gym that nobody's ever heard of, went and competed against some of the best guys in his division and just tore through them. And I could tell, like, you know, he was like, people were asking him, like, dude, where are you from? And he's like, oh, I trained. And it's just like having the gym logo on his back, and only that, you know, was a massive moment to see him win, and to like really, it justifies and it really brings into perspective what we do here. And that was probably the biggest. Well, like I cried, you know what I mean? Like, we were all watching it in the gym going nuts. And, you know, that was a huge just moment for us to be able to be like, hey, we're here.
That's so cool.
That was in 2021. So.
Wow. That was just a couple years after you guys opened. Wow. So what is the most challenging part about running the gym and being the gym owner? Because it's not, you don't get to do as much jiu-jitsu, right? It's all different.
It is. It depends, like, on the day. I mean, you get to train as much as you want. I mean, running this place for me is not hard. Like, because I'm not a businessman. I'm a grappler. So, like, for me, I've honestly, people ask me this question so many times, like, what's the hardest part about being the gym owner? Hands down, the hardest part is, and this, I don't know if you've ever heard someone say this, it's that when people move away.
Yeah, it's the worst. We don't own the gym, and it's the worst for us.
That's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
And the people may be like, oh, is it the day-to-day? No, it's fucking answering emails is a joke. Answering the phone is not hard. Returning phone calls is not hard. Cleaning the mat is not hard. You know what I mean? Like, that is not difficult. It's actually very simple. You know what I mean? Luckily I have my wife, because if my wife didn't help me pay the taxes, I'd probably be in fucking jail by now for tax evasion. But no, I mean, none of that is honestly difficult, because like I said, I'm not a business guy. I'm just a jiu-jitsu guy. So, but definitely the hardest part for me, hands down, is when my friends move.
Yeah.
And I don't get to see them anymore. You know, I'm having one guy here soon. His family's moving to Pittsburgh. A family of mine just moved to Florida. One of my students a few years ago, thank God he moved back now, but he moved to Tampa. One of my students lives in Memphis. So they go all over. One of my guys just moved to Indianapolis, and he was only with us for not even a year, but like, I miss him already. It's one of those, people are going to come and go. And if guys are only here for a short amount of time, it's like, okay, you're not really devastated about that. They quit, but it's when they move away, because it's kind of like they're a part of this place. And when I don't see them, it's like a piece is missing.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I really try to develop, relationships with these people to where, like, they're my friends. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy that, to see them. And when I don't get to see them anymore, it devastates me. But I'm happy for them, because most of the time they move for job opportunities. They'd be like, dude, you're a massive factor of like why we wanted to stay. And I'd be like, I want to slap them, because I want to be like, bro, you can't stay here for us. Come on, like Johnny, you know what I mean? Johnny going out, he's like, bro, I want to, like, this is just everything I ever wanted, to move out to the West Coast and be out here. And I'm like, bro, you got to go. Dude, you're never going to get this opportunity again, bro. You got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
we're always going to be here. This is your home, but at the end of the day, like, you can always come back and visit, and I'm lucky that when these people come back home, if they have family here or whatever, they stop in the gym. And I'm like a dog that hasn't seen their owner in a year. You know what I mean? I'm so excited to see
you get up and run.
Just jumping all over them.
Yeah, just jump on them, man, because it's
piss your pants a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Piss all over the mat. I would say I think that for me, and I think everybody will say different things, but for me personally, that is definitely the hardest, is when my guys and girls they move, and they've made a massive impact on the gym. But when they move and they find it, they're like, hey, I need to find a gym. Can you find me one? Fuck yeah, I can. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I want them to continue their jiu-jitsu. So that's cool.
Yeah, and that's like says a lot about the community you create, and the environment of your gym, because like not every gym has that. And just like actively being conscious of like making friendships and making people feel welcome. I mean, whether you're the owner or not, that is such a huge part of actually getting people to stick around. Like 100%. They need to feel welcome
and appreciated.
Right.
But we feel your pain with the people moving, because we live in a Coast Guard area, so we're always getting coasties in the gym, and then they move.
2 years max.
Right.
So they all leave. I was going to ask you the most rewarding part, but it also could be the fact that the relationships are so strong that you miss people so deeply when they're gone.
Yeah. I mean, the most rewarding part about having a gym is like, you try to make you get to see people leave a little bit better than when they came. I guess if that makes sense. Like I'll get guys and girls that come in, maybe they're not on a great path, or maybe they're struggling or whatever, and jiu-jitsu helps them, or I don't think it's not just me, it's everybody in the gym, working together and trying to bring you up and pick you up when you're down. And I get to see these guys leave and these girls leave a little bit better than when they came. And if I can, help them with that, like if they have a shit day, and they're just going through it, you know what I mean? They have a sudden loss, or they lose their job or whatever. If jiu-jitsu is the thing that gets them out of that, then that's probably the most rewarding thing that I can give them. Is just a place where they can just get it out. They have a place they can come where, none of that shit matters. They have an hour and a half of just not having to worry about it.
Yes.
And it helps.
Just
So
a safe
I think
space.
that's something that I try to do. Yeah, for sure.
Amazing. It's really, I think that's probably across the board what everybody's most rewarding thing of being a part of a gym, training jiu-jitsu, being the coach, being the student, is that mental break that you get that just changes everybody's lives just a little bit, like you said, a little bit better.
Right.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about jiu-jitsu is like, it's a forever journey. Like you're always a student. So how do you balance being a coach and still like being a student of the art?
So definitely, I mean, it does take its toll on your progression when you become
For sure.
a coach, because everybody else comes before you, but you don't get to bitch about it, because at the end of the day, you made that decision.
Right.
I mean, that's how it is. So your progression can slow, but I tell this people all the time, from the time that I was 19, when I started, until I was like 29, before I had my first son, I would watch like 2 to 3 hours of jiu-jitsu a day.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So, and I had no obligations, I was in college.
Right.
And then, I didn't have any kids, you know what I mean? So I had the free time to be able to do it. So I would say, being able to balance that time is, time that I have on my own in open mats when I get home late at night. A lot of times, like, I'll post pictures like on my Instagram, and it'll just be like jiu-jitsu on my TV at like 1 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? And so I'm watching.
Yes.
I'm always watching. I watch a lot of NCAA wrestling. I watch a lot of, every live jiu-jitsu event pretty much that you can think of. And, like, for example, we talk about this in the gym a lot, is how much you can learn from watching. So, for example, at CJI too, the guys were talking about, I believe it was Lucas Kennard and Chris Rojek, and they're like, oh, this match was really good. I'm like, well, what did you guys learn from it? They were talking, they're like, oh, we were talking about different things within the match. And they're like, well, what did you notice? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't watch them other than from their legs, essentially their hips down, because they're both leg lockers. So all I'm doing is watching the leg lock shoot out between them, where their feet are. Like, how do these two guys defend? Because they're probably two of the top 5 best leg lockers in the world. Like, how are they defending? What are they doing with their knees, their feet? How are they pointing their toes? What are they doing? So I learn very much from watching.
Yes.
Then when I'm sparring, I'll force myself into these positions and then mimic what I see. So, it's honestly, I don't get to drill as much. I do get to spar, but I don't obviously get to drill as much because I have to obviously watch everybody else. But it's just a matter of carving out time in your day and forcing yourself to, hey, I need to watch jiu-jitsu from this time to this time. These are the matches. These are the positions I'm looking for. These are the guys or girls I'm going to watch. And I just go from there. Because for me, it doesn't really matter. Like, if I was going to watch, let's say I wanted to get good at single leg X. Okay, well, I'm going to watch Leandro Lowe. I'm going to watch him for hours. If I want to get good at sit-up guard, I'm going to watch Otavio Souza. Knee cuts, I'm going to watch Lucas Lepri. Back takes, I'll watch Rafa Mendez. Footlock, like straight footlock, I'll watch Felipe Andrew or Mikey Musumeci. It doesn't really matter what the position is. I'll watch the guys that are the best at it in the world and then try to mimic their finishing mechanics, their entries, their control within the position, and I'll try to just mimic it. So
Are you
that's pretty much how I learn now.
Or
No.
just matches?
You can. I watch matches because for me, it's what matters the most live. I think is what matters the most. Don't get me wrong. Instructionals are great. They give you more insight and in depth. Funny enough, the first instructional I ever had was my friend Chad gave it to me. It was a Bibiano Fernandez instructional, and it was not in English. It was in Portuguese, so I had no idea.
So much talking too.
What was going on in it? But at the end of the day, like, I think one of the best instructionals I ever saw was Jacare's, because he would show a technique on his uke, like on his partner, and then it would cut to a clip of him doing it live at a match.
That's cool. Yeah. See, I can't watch instructionals. It's too much talking for me. So I like what you're doing.
Yeah, just give me the meat and potatoes of the position, and I'll do it. Right. So I think that's where I'm able to still learn, because jiu-jitsu, people very much will fall behind in this sport very fast. You're going to move with the times, and the times are going to move you. And I see this all too often with guys in jiu-jitsu, is like, you know, they get passed up very quickly because they don't keep up with where jiu-jitsu is going.
Yes.
And that's not good. So it's a tough one.
When you watch stuff back, do you ever, are you ever like, oh, what the fuck did they just do? And then watch it back in like slow-mo? Because I do that.
And we laugh about this still in the gym, is like, there's this sequence between Eduardo Tellez and Felipe Pena from like 2012 at Nogi Worlds. It's like 2012 or 2013. It's in the finals of Nogi Worlds. And if you pull this clip up on YouTube and you watch it, you're going to be like, what in the fuck? You're like, he gets out of this back take sequence from the turtle and sits up like the fucking Undertaker and somehow gets on Felipe Pena's back. It's wild. It's one of the craziest fucking things I've ever seen. But it honestly, like, let's say I'm going to watch a match. Like last night I was watching Mateus Sparandelli. He's a black belt on Alliance. He's got a really good like single leg X like position that he uses. And I've been watching a lot of Adam Wardzinski. But it might take me, for example, to watch a 10-minute match. It could take me over 40 minutes.
Yeah.
To go to because I'll watch it one time through, and I'll just write down in my phone, or I'll type in my phone like a bookmark time, like 2:31, 5:07, 7:37, whatever, right? And those are just times in which a sequence happens that I want to figure out. And then I'll go back and then I'll watch them. So it does take me a little bit of time. But I think from watching it live, that's just how my brain processes jiu-jitsu. Not everyone's like that, and that's okay. Some people need instructionals. Some people need more hands-on. I can watch it and mimic it. Am I good at it when I first try it? Fuck no. But, you know, I'll just figure it out over time. It took me 2 years to learn how to play worm guard. You know what I mean?
I hate worm guard.
It took me 2 years. Yeah. And, but you know, it was like my training partners, when I was doing it to them, I would get my guard passed.
Yeah.
I would get mounted. I'd get my back taken or whatever. But, hey man, like, I feel like I'm doing really good against you today. I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't say much. And then once I figured out how to do it, and I could sweep, I could attack the back, I could go after arm bars. They're like, what the fuck are you doing to me? And that's when I got to be like, wouldn't you like to know? It took me 2 years to figure this out.
Like, I've been studying.
Yeah. I'm not fucking showing you anything. But now, like, you know, everybody knows how to do it. So the secret's out, you know, the cat's out of the bag.
Right.
Yeah. You know, it's cool to see how different people learn, but you got to be ready for that, because everybody's going to be different.
Yeah.
And obviously I would imagine that, you know, as life has changed, you're probably not able to watch as much or study as much film as maybe you used to earlier on, because you're a husband and a father now on top of being a business owner. So how do you balance all of that, and how has having a family changed the way you approach jiu-jitsu and training? So, you know, I have 3 sons. So each son dominates one television in my house. You know, Bluey could be on one, Dinosaurs could be on the other, and then Miss Rachel could be on another. So,
my God, I'm so sorry for you.
Oh man, if I see Blippy one more time, if I ever see that dude in person, I'm kicking his ass. But no, honestly, I think I'm able to balance it because my wife's awesome. You know what I mean? My wife is so understanding of how much jiu-jitsu means to me. So like, if the Worlds is on, like, she knows, like, don't bother dad. You know what I mean? Or like, my boys can come around me, but like, she knows that that's like my Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So I'm watching every day, all day long. I only get up to go to the bathroom, and that's, you know what I mean? So that's like the thing.
Hyper focus.
Exactly. Right. And my wife is super understanding of that. Like, you know, I went out to Who's Number One in Pittsburgh, you know, so I do get to travel. You know, I don't get to sit down and watch it as much.
Yeah.
But, you know, if I have time before class, or maybe during an open mat, or if I see a clip on Instagram, I'm able to kind of, you know, work on these things on my own in the gym. But, you know, I wouldn't give that time back for my kids.
Yeah.
You know, being a dad is it's fucking awesome. Like, I love it. Being a dad is such a cool thing. And, you know, I've got 3 sons, and the question everybody always asks me, like, oh, when are you going to let your kids do jiu-jitsu? And I always say the same thing, like, when they're ready.
Yeah.
when they're ready. Like I say this to everybody. Like I would rather my sons be okay at jiu-jitsu. Like they're nothing special. They're not black belt world champions. They're not like amazing. They're not great, but they absolutely love it. And they learn the life lessons that jiu-jitsu should teach them,
Right.
rather than them be black belt world champions, pan champ, Brazilian national champ, ADCC champ.
Right.
And I have to fight with them tooth and nail to get them to go to the gym. I have to argue with them. I just don't want to do that.
Yeah,
I mean, I
it's
would
not
rather
worth it.
it be something that I get to enjoy with my sons, and rather than it be a job for them. Because this is like jiu-jitsu is tough in the sense of the beating your body takes to get to a certain level.
Yeah.
The physical toll, and it's like, I don't know if I want that for my kids.
Do you think that having kids has forced you to train differently, like smarter instead of harder?
I would say recently, yes, because they're getting close to the age. My oldest is, and I would say recently, yes. You know, I've had 7 knee surgeries. I've had shoulder surgery. I broke my nose 3 times. I broke my orbital bone. I probably broke most of my fingers. I have no meniscus in either knee. I have my C5 and C6 and my neck are completely crushed.
Oh my God.
It sounds like you're doing fantastic physically.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, like when people ask like, well, dude, like, are you going to stop? And I'm like,
No.
Like, what? But I will say, like, I train very smart than a lot smarter than I used to when I was younger, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I have kids, for sure. Because the biggest thing, I'm not going to get time back.
Right. Do the kids think it's just your job, or do they know like what jiu-jitsu means to you? Like, do they understand yet?
No, my kids think, so my oldest son told his school resource officer, because when I leave the house, I'm like, all right, Dad's got to go make the donuts. He told his teachers that that's what I do for a living. I own a donut shop. So he doesn't really know what jiu-jitsu is. Like sometimes I'll have it on the TV or whatever, and he'll sit there and watch, but I'm not like, hey, you have to sit here.
Right. He can come and go as he pleases.
Yeah, I mean, he's 5 years old. You know, I'm not that worried about it. So it's one of those things. Like, I think a lot of parents get their kids involved in sports at an extremely young age, and they think like because they do that they're going to be incredible athletes.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, a lot of times it doesn't. You know, in most cases it really doesn't. So jiu-jitsu is one of those things I hope to enjoy with my kids for a long time, and then hopefully later on, if I'm still, you know, out there, you know, and I'm able to still move around a little bit, you know, with my grandkids, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, I look forward to that. So, and I want to make sure that that's a possibility. So
awesome.
Dude, they're gonna, like, as your kids grow and become more aware of what you do, like, they're gonna be like, I have the fucking coolest dad.
They're gonna tell the resource officer that you're gonna come beat his ass.
Right. I take great pride in that, though. I mean, I take pride in knowing that, like, when my kid looks at another kids, my dads can beat your dad's ass. Like, I take pride in that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're damn right. You know what I mean? Like, I can kick every dad's ass.
This shit.
In this Donuts for Dads, I can fuck all these dudes up. You know what I mean? I enjoy that. But, you know, at the same time, you know, I really want my kids to understand that it's like, it's a power that you have to learn how to, like, harness. Like, just because you do jiu-jitsu doesn't mean you're a badass. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be good at it. Number one, that helps. But, you know, just because, you know, you have to learn how to control it.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing I think with kids, and with the kids that I have in here, is that mentality of, like, you have to learn how to control your emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And jiu-jitsu really helps you do that. It kind of forces you whether you want to or not, because no matter how mad you get, it doesn't mean that you're going to have skill. Like, that's not how anything works. Like, I've never golfed, but if I'm like, you know, I went out and played Tiger Woods, it came like, well, if I get really pissed, I'm going to beat you because I'm really mad. You know what I mean? Like that, you know what I mean? That's not how that works. Like, it's the same with fighting, you know, with jiu-jitsu. So you really have to keep everything in check.
Definitely.
I have an interesting question, maybe.
Maybe.
So, I mean, we obviously talk a lot about, like, women in jiu-jitsu. How do you think, if you had like a daughter, how do you think you would approach like parenting a daughter differently, or as far as like, I mean, because jujitsu is really self-defense, so it's different.
Right.
It's different for boys versus girls.
Yeah.
So how do you? Yeah. So what do you think about that?
I can say from experience, like with my wife, for example, like the biggest mistake I ever made in my jiu-jitsu career with that was I pushed her too hard.
Oh.
And had I not done that, maybe she would still be training. But it's one of those things where it was like I treated her like a teammate instead of like my girlfriend at the time. And I regret it because she's a good athlete. But I think if I had a daughter, it would be different than like, for example, like in the kids class, like I am much more sensitive and careful with the little girls because I have a lot of little girls that train than I am with the boys. If the girls come like, hey, Coach Shannon, can I go to the bathroom? Yeah, honey, go. Can I go get a drink? Yeah, honey, go ahead. You're okay. The boys come up to me and they're like, hey, can I go to the bathroom? No, you gutless worm, get back in line. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what you want, you know, like, so it is different because you have to be a little bit more gentle with them when they're young.
Yeah.
But I will say this, like the girls, they scrap, man. They fight like hell and they're mean, they're tough, but you know, you have to be very, very careful with them, you know, because they are a little bit more sensitive at a young age. And maybe, you know, I haven't had a lot of like teen girls train, but you know, I have a lot of, you know, women that are obviously adults that train, but it's one of those things like with the young ones, I think if I had a daughter, it would be more of like, I would want to teach her and like coach her a lot more than I am with my sons.
Yeah.
Because with my sons, it's kind of like go over there and, you know, Uncle Ben can train with you. You know what I mean? I'll roll with them or whatnot. But I think with my daughter, it would be a little bit more of a connection because I think I'm protective of my sons.
Yeah.
But if I had a daughter, I would be hyper protective of her.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I think that's how you should be as a parent. Not that you're not protective of your sons, but you should be extremely protective of your daughters.
The boys need a little more leeway than the girls do. The girls need a little bit more like, no, we see the world. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm much harder on the young boys, on the little kids, than I am on the girls. Now, they still have the same standard of skill.
Sure,
but
of
I'm
course.
much more, you know, if a girl gets a bloody lip and they're crying like, hey, honey, it's okay. A boy gets a bloody lip. I'm like, hey, put your head back. And I'll just throw water in their face, you know, wipe their face. Like, get back over there.
Get back on.
We got time. We got to go. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. They need that though, I think.
So how would you say you coach adult men and women differently?
Good question. Or do you?
Know, to be honest with you, no.
Good.
I don't. So
I love that.
I don't teach them any. So for example, I had a woman sign up 2 weeks ago. Her name's Jenn, super nice woman. And she comes in and, you know, she calls the gym first, you know, and I call her back and she starts asking questions about the gym, all good. You know, the common questions, how much does it cost? How much can I train? Blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
And I tell them, you know, I'm like, listen, you know, I want you to know that jiu-jitsu is really hard, but I'm not going to talk to you or teach you any differently than I do the guys. I'm going to yell at you the same. I'm going to roll with you the same. Now, when I say roll with you the same, I mean with the same level of intensity, but I'm not going to use all my strength. I'm not going to use all my weight, but I'm going to hold you to the same standard. If you put your arm, your foot, your neck, any body part, your body positioning where it's not supposed to be, you're going to pay for it.
Sure.
So I'm not going to let you off just because you're a woman. And anytime I've ever had that conversation with a woman, they're like, thanks.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, because it's the most annoying thing in the world when somebody's like blatantly going easy and you're just like, bitch, you're wasting my time.
Right. I think it is an art to learn how to roll with women. I don't think it's hard. But like when I roll with the girls here, like some gyms, like my students had just moved to Florida, they train in a gym where the guys and the girls are not allowed to train together.
What?
There must be a huge group of people.
Only, they have less people that train here.
Whoa, wow.
But, you know, it's not, I probably have like 150, 160 students, something like that. I don't even know. You think I know that, but again, I'm not a business guy. I honestly have no
Oh, yeah.
It's up there somewhere, last time I checked. But it's one of those things where, you know, guys and girls here can train together. I'm not going to regulate who you train with.
Right.
That I don't give a shit. If you want to train with the person, go ahead. But it's one of those things where, you know, training, I think if you're only like, hey, women are only allowed to train with women, men are only allowed to train with men, it's like,
You're shorting the women.
to me, but I would say, like, as an instructor, as a coach, as an owner, you're afraid of confrontation. You're afraid of what could possibly happen.
Something's happened before.
Yeah, if you ask anyone that probably has ever met me, you're either going to love me or you're going to fucking hate me, and I don't know which one that's going to be.
Same.
But the thing is I'm not afraid of confrontation. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
So, like, I absolutely love that shit. The people training together doesn't scare me. So, you know, like, obviously, like, training with women, if you just lay there and you don't do anything and you're just a dead fish, it's like, in my opinion, it's like, I'm diminishing all of the hard work and effort, and blood and sweat you put into, in injuries that you put into the sport. Because what I'm saying is that if I tried, you couldn't do shit to me.
Yes.
Right. It's insulting.
Right? And that's how
it's rude
it is,
as
very
fuck.
much so. Right. So with me is like, I'm not going to use all of my strength, all of my weight. Most of the time I'm on the bottom. Like, I'm not a small guy. I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. I'm not small, but I can play in the top position with a girl that's 130 pounds because I know that more than likely they're going to need to get to back takes. They're going to need to get to some type of inversion position to be able to nullify my size. Right. So I allow them to really move and get into these positions. And if they don't, I'm going to tell them to, or I'm going to force them into them. So realistically, you know, training with a woman, and I actually got this idea from Terry Steiner, Terry Steiner is a wrestler at the University of Iowa. He was the longtime women's developmental coach for USA Wrestling. He took a job coaching women, and he was a keynote speaker at a wrestling camp we were at. And he was like, I found that if I had an issue with coaching women, that was my problem, not theirs. And that really stuck with me. Being a coach was like, it's an issue that I have, and I need to just get over that shit. So to me, I coach them like athletes, not like women.
Nice. I think that's great. What do you think some of the biggest mistakes that gyms are making when they're trying to grow women's programs?
I would say the biggest mistakes some of the biggest mistakes when growing women's programs would be kind of dismissing them before they even get in the door or when they come in the door. Kind of be like, no, not a lot of girls train here. Like, like not a lot of women train jiu-jitsu. Why do you want to do it? Type shit like that. I would say when they're on the mat, it's kind of like they use like verbiage like, yeah, I guess that's good enough. Or yeah, it's pretty good for a girl. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure you've probably been somewhere where someone's like, yeah, okay, close enough. Like that, like there's no
I think I would have popped off if that happened. Like, I think I would have been like, no, really, like, is it right or is it wrong? Like,
yeah, do it right. Do it fucking right and do it like this.
Yeah.
Right? I don't give a fuck if you're a guy or girl or not. You can do it right. So I think it's those things because then they feel like they're lesser, like it's not much is expected of them.
Right.
So that's a big problem. I would say gyms probably not doing due diligence with their students. Like, I don't want to say background checking them because you can't background check every person that comes through your gym because that would be a fucking fortune to background check every single human being. But like, I can tell you here, every single person that comes through the gym, like on ohio.gov, we run them through, like I run them through because I'm the only one that works here, obviously, through a registered sex offender list. So anyone that comes for an open mat, anyone that comes to be a member, I can run them through a registered sex offender list in the state of Ohio, and it will tell me their name. Obviously, like it'll have their pictures. So if anyone with this last name, I can see what county they live in, their address. I've never had a problem with it in 8 years, but again, you never know.
Nice.
So you need to do your due diligence there, I think, as a gym owner, because it's free.
I agree.
I mean, it takes fucking 2 minutes to do it.
Yeah, I think that's great. And that should be a standard across all gyms.
Yes. Even the friggin' Planet Fitness.
Yeah. So I would say, right. Obviously, I mean, like for me, like I'm the first line of defense in the gym.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like when people call, email, DM, it's me. It's not a guy that I have working for me or there's like multiple instructors. Like I would say I'm the monkey in charge of the bananas. That's what I say here at the gym. So it's like, I'm the head of the ship. So, these people have to get past me. And there are certain things I think that in a gym you have to be careful for. Like, if someone called the gym, like a guy called and was like, how many women do you have trained? Well, what the fuck do you want to know that for? You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to know that? You know what I mean? Do you allow men and women? Those would be like red flags that guys would ask you, like, would you allow men and women to train together, right? Like, why?
Our gym got an email that literally said, like, do you allow women to train with men? Because I don't think I can do that. And they were like, here's your check returned. Thank you very much. Like, no.
Sure. And I've had it on the flip side where I've had guys be like, well, I don't want to train with women. Right. And I tell them this, and I keep it I tell people this all the time, is like, you don't want to create problems for me in my gym because I'll solve those problems.
Yes.
So if you don't want to train with women, that's fine. But if there's a group of 3, then you're the odd guy. Sorry, go over there.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I'm not gonna accommodate you for how you feel. Mm-hmm. So, if a woman didn't want to train with a guy, fine. Other way around, vice versa, I don't give a shit.
Exactly.
So I could care less. And people are like, well, that's not fair. Like, well, life's not fair. So too bad.
If life was fair, we'd all be equal.
Exactly. But, I think growing a women's program really comes down to having a good nucleus of just a few women. You don't need a lot. And when you get a good one, like, I can honestly, and you guys can, and I'll ask you this question. So let's say you never did jiu-jitsu. Maybe you're looking to work out, find something different. And you have 2 people standing in front of you. One is a guy, one is a girl. They both do jiu-jitsu. And I talk to you first and say, hey, listen, jiu-jitsu is really good. It's really safe. And, it's a good environment, blah, 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 blah. I tell you all the great factors about it. And then the girl tells you, right? Like, hey, this gym's really safe.
Right.
It's super, super friendly. Like, it's a great place to come and learn jiu-jitsu. And this is not going to hurt my feelings. Who are you more apt to listen to as a woman, the guy or the girl?
100%.
Always the girl. Always.
Sure, right. And I don't take offense to that. So what I tell the girls here is, guys, I tell them, like, listen, ladies, I don't advertise for the gym. I don't put out like email blasts or, posts. I don't have none of that shit. I don't even have a sign outside.
Yeah.
So it's like, girls, if you want girls to train, you guys are the best advertisements. Tell your friends, tell people that post about jiu-jitsu. And then when they have questions, like when these girls come in here, let's say, like this new girl, Jen, for example, she came in. I told the other girls, I'm like, hey, there's a new woman starting next week. I was like, when she comes in, introduce yourselves, but just be honest with her. Like, I don't give them a script of what to say. You know what I mean? I just tell them, like, hey, if she has questions, just be honest, be genuine. Don't lie to her. Just tell her what she wants to know. And that's it. And I think that's a really good way to grow it, is just, it's women, hunting other women down to get into the jiu-jitsu gym. I think that's big part of it. Another big part of it is again, that environment that's obviously safe and it's inclusive. Everyone's, because I hear we're a team.
Yeah.
We're not just a gym of people that come together and train. Like, we're a team. So like the girls training with the guys, pushing each other, suffering together. That is what really keeps everybody tight and what makes everything safe, is because we are so tight. Because I tell the girls all the time, I'm far more protective of them than I are of the guys.
Yeah.
Far more. Like everybody in here is. Like, I tell the dudes all the time, like, another guy comes in here and roughs you guys up, I'm not going to feel bad. You should have fucking been better. But if a guy comes in here and like hurts one of the girls, like you probably wouldn't be able to grapple for a while. Like, you'd get hurt. And I think that's how every gym should be. Like, you should be hyper protective of your women, because, I listened to your guys' podcast. I've listened to a few episodes of it, talking about, instances that you've had happen.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those things, like, jiu-jitsu is such a good, I don't want to say like an outlet for it, but I don't think it ever goes away.
Right.
But it helps you. And the thing I say is, like, it helps you compete with those feelings. Like,
100%.
when you start to have that anxiety or whatever, you can compete with it. It's like, you know what? I've been through some tough shit before, but this ain't nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been there before and I survived, and I'm going to survive again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
ain't that the truth? Woo! Mic drop.
I had a girl, obviously I don't want to say her name, but, I had a girl training and she's a fucking awesome competitor. She just recently moved and, again, a tough thing. She's up, she's 2-time IBJJF champion or 3-time IBJJF champion, maybe even more. I don't even know.
Shit.
She's got tons of medals up on this wall. And, when she first started training, we would mimic competition, and we were all jogging around the room. She was in the middle, and she all the noise and all the sound, just us screaming, I could tell her eyes were wide and she froze. I don't know how to describe it. It's like,
I know what you mean.
She was terrified.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. So she started to get emotional and cry, and got up and ran out of the room. Ran to the bathroom, of course, I'm like, hey, you run the training, I'll be right back. So me, the husband, went down the hall, and she was having a panic attack. And I had no idea that she had been, assaulted
of course
earlier in her life. And, it's one of those things where for her, jiu-jitsu was that I'm going to have to learn to compete against these feelings. I'm going to feel like this, but it was a place that she could come to feel safe, but to get those out.
Yep.
And, like I said, fucking multiple time IBJJF champion, she got over that fear and was able to go out and compete against some of the best girls in the Midwest in her division and win. She won her weight, won the open class as 125-pound girl.
Fuck yes. That's so badass.
And that's what, that's, I think, the most important things that we do as gym owners is we give people those opportunities. It's, the medals are cool. The medals and the trophies and all that shit, but the most important things that we get aren't tangible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't touch them.
Yeah.
It's things like that we try to do for people.
So it's funny. It's funny because one of the questions that I was going to ask you is if you could sum up the culture of True Art BJJ in a few words, what would they be? But I feel like I've gathered that it is a safe space.
Yes.
It's an inclusive space.
Inviting.
Yeah. It just sounds like a good environment. And I hope that we get to visit sometime.
I know.
Yeah. I mean,
be kind of over there.
It's a lot of those things, but I think it depends. It depends on who you talk to in terms of jiu-jitsu, because every gym is different.
Right.
And I don't talk down about any other gyms. I don't care how they run their businesses, because that's not my business.
Right.
Some people maybe don't agree with how we train. They don't agree with, how hard we drill, how hard we spar. You know what I mean? I cuss constantly at the gym.
I love it.
I've thrown chairs. I've thrown wall timers and broke them. You know what I mean? And I'm not ashamed to say that, but I'm just a very, I love jiu-jitsu. I take it very seriously.
Passionate.
Yeah, for sure. But I will say, of all those things, I want, I'm not looking, I stole this quote from Salo, and I actually love this quote. It's we don't look for the best students. We look for the right students.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes us successful. It's I think a lot of gyms where you'll have problems, and kind of to go back to that, why do gyms have problems running women's programs, is because gyms will take anyone as long as they're worried about making money. They'll bring anyone in. They don't give a fuck. Whereas it's they'll let the devil through the door as long as the check clears, right? It's for me, if I get a bad feeling about you, hey man, listen, you got to be professional. And I've gotten bad feelings about people before. And I just tell them hey, right now, we don't have any openings on our roster right now. We're just full at capacity. So I'll take your information. And if a spot opens, I'll give you a call. Obviously, I do have a couple people in front of you, but you want to be professional with them, but you're politely telling them to get the fuck off.
Yeah. Not your gym.
Yeah, for sure. And that's okay. And if they don't like that, then, too fucking bad.
Yeah. There's another one they can try.
Sure. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
I love that. So we usually round out our episodes with a little bit of rapid fire. Are you down for some questions?
Always.
All right. Awesome. All right. So gi or no gi?
Gi.
Favorite submission?
Armbar. Any arm lock. Doesn't matter. Armbar for sure. Any armbar.
What is your favorite guard to teach?
Favorite guard to teach? Probably single leg X.
Nice.
And then off of that, X guard and reverse X. Probably those are probably my favorite.
Love this.
There's just a lot of fun,
when it comes
fun
to
chains. Yeah. What is a piece of advice that you would give a white belt in their first couple months of training?
So a couple things. The first thing I always tell people, probably one of the first things that you need to learn how to do in jiu-jitsu is learn terminology. So what is what? Or what is side control? What's the mount? Because then we can communicate. It's a lot easier for us to communicate if you know what I'm saying. No. Are you going to be able to do that in a week? No. But over the time, a few months, you'll probably figure out the main positions. Close guard, half guard, side control, the mount, the back, all that stuff. That's fine.
That's so true. Yeah.
I would say term, because then I could be like, hey, get to side control. Well, they know what that is. You know, like a first day guy, you'd be like, hey, get to the turtle. They're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what? You know, they don't understand. So the next thing I tell people, and I tell these guys in this gym a lot, and I think this is a massive misconception in jiu-jitsu, and not everyone agrees with me on this, and that's okay. But I would say that you don't, just because you know a lot of moves does not mean that you'll be a good grappler. I think that is the biggest misconception in jiu-jitsu. To be a good grappler at a high level, just because you know a lot of moves does not mean that you will be good. That's not how jiu-jitsu works. So don't focus so much on learning a ton of moves, but learn in the beginning how to escape pins, like how to get out of side control, how to get out of the mount, and have good guard retention. Like make it difficult for people to pass your guard and hold you down. So that's really what we work on in here in the fundamentals. It's just the main basic positions like takedowns, sprawling, guard passing, guard retention, guard recovery, escapes from pins, and learning how to pin. Because everybody in their first day, they're like, well, how do I submit the guy from here? Like, you're not going to submit people for a while, but you can't even hold down that 14-year-old kid. So
one step at a time.
One step at a time.
Slow your roll.
I definitely someone that's brand new. Terminology is big. Definitely, again, like just like I'm probably only good at like 20, 25 moves. Like every elite level dude I've ever got to roll with, like I've got to roll with Lucas Lepre, Marcelo Garcia, JT Torres, Clark Gracie, Gutenberg Pereira, Gabriel Moraes, like multiple time black belt world champions, ADCC champions, Brazilian national champions.
Yeah.
And it's like every one of them took my fucking lunch money. Every one of them. But what I will tell you is that like the things that they are the best at is the basics. Like they're very, very hard to pin. They're very hard to get close to, and they're very precise. So it's like you can know a lot of moves, but if you can't do that, I've asked them personally, like, hey, like if you were honestly like, how many moves do you think you're really, really good at? And they'd be like, oh, only like 20.
Yeah.
Like in competition, they're only trying to do like 20 moves.
Right.
Like
Just
20 positions. They're only
repeating.
trying to get to like 20. Yeah. See, yeah, that's it. But if they get you in any of those, you're a dead man.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's one of those things I believe with jiu-jitsu is just, you don't need to know a lot of stuff. Like Danaher said it the best, like you need to know a lot about a little and a little about a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely as a white belt, you want to not focus so much on knowing everything and just focus on a solid foundation, because that will carry you to a higher level of grappling.
For sure.
I fully agree.
And be a mat rat. Ask questions.
Be a mat rat.
Always ask a question.
And show up. Well, people say this all the time. It's like, oh, just keep showing up. No. Like, just showing up ain't enough. Like, I showed up every day to math class. I didn't learn a fucking thing.
Same.
Good way to put it. Yeah.
But it's showing up with the intention of getting better and learning.
Yes.
That's different.
Yes.
That is a different mentality to have.
Yeah.
So I think when you have that, then you're going to have a recipe for a good grappler.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
So say you have a super fight tomorrow, what would your walkout song be?
Super fight tomorrow, and my walkout song probably. Oh man, that's a tough one. Probably "Blind" by Korn.
Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to that one. I don't know if I can.
I bet you know it.
I can't hear it in my head right now, but I'm gonna go turn it on as soon as.
Unless you
want
to sing it for us, Shannon, you can sing it.
If you want to see a crazy video, go watch "Blind" by Korn in Woodstock '99.
Oh,
Okay.
That's like when they come out, and when you see the crowd, you're gonna be like, okay, I understand it now.
Oh yeah, that's Woodstock '99. That's actually where I'm from. I'm from upstate New York, like right outside of Rome, New York. So I know all about the Woodstock '99.
Yep. Korn Woodstock '99 "Blind." It's the very first song when they come out, and the place just erupts.
All right, dude.
So I would say that probably.
Perfect. And what would you have for your post-fight meal?
Oh man, my post-fight meal probably Chipotle.
Nice.
Chipotle. Yeah, probably post-fight meal
now.
Chipotle. Yeah, something simple, nothing crazy, just something I have a unhealthy relationship with Chipotle, so I quite like it. So that would definitely be where I'd go. Yeah, that's definitely where I'd go.
All right, 2 more questions. So, if your best friend had to describe you in 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
Oh man. Oh wow. If I had to be described by my buddy Timmy in 3 words, I would say probably the first one I would say I think is dependable. I hope he would say that about me, because I feel like I'm a really dependable person. Like I'm just a guy like that's going to be there for you, like no matter what. Like if I say I'm going to do something for you, I'm going to do it. Loyal. I think I'm like brutally loyal in the sense of, I always look out for my friends, especially the guys and girls here on and off the mat. I think that's part of being a part of a team. I'm very loyal to my friends and to my family. Nobody can really step in between that. And I think that's what he'd say about me. The last one, probably a dick. I'm not, I will say this, like, I'm not an easy person to get along with.
Yes.
You're, like I said, you're going to love me or you're going to hate me. But I think with that is just my personality. What you see with me is what you get. I'm not fake.
Yeah.
If I have a problem with you, I'm just going to bring it to you. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But I'm not fake. I think that's one thing I can honestly, truly say is, I'm very honest with people. And if you don't like me, then that's okay. How you see me as an individual, I don't really give a fuck. But how you view me as a professional in jiu-jitsu, like as an instructor, as a gym owner, that I very much care about. But as a person, if you don't like me, then that's fine. I don't really give a shit how you feel about me.
I love that.
This is so on my level of like,
don't give a fuck attitude.
Don't give a fuck. Yes. All righty.
All right, last question. So where can people find you? I know you are at True Art Jiu-Jitsu in Ohio, Fair Lawn, Ohio, correct?
Yep.
All right, can you share your Instagram handles? Where can people find you, follow you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I'm the Savage BJJ, at the Savage BJJ. Again, True Art Jiu-Jitsu. True Art BJJ is the name of our Instagram. You can find me obviously through the link in my Instagram. It's in the bio. So yeah, my gym, like I said, we've been here going on 8 years. We've got big plans this year. Obviously, we're trying to fill up our wall with, all gold medals, and it's one of those things. It's going to be a tough goal for sure, but it's a goal that I'm willing to fail at, but try. So
hell yeah,
you guys, I appreciate you guys having me on here. I'm glad you guys. The most thing is like I appreciate you guys being there for John.
Sounds great.
John's a great dude.
We're lucky to have him. And we're super grateful that he connected us. So, because we really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope to come train with you sometime.
Maybe we can go.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Anytime you guys are. God, I don't know why you'd ever want to come here.
Wait, how far from Indianapolis are you?
Yeah.
5 hours. 5 hours east.
Never mind.
So,
This summer.
It's far. It's far.
Honestly,
it's just far. I'm 2.5 hours from Columbus, 4 hours from Cincinnati.
That's how we are. We're like in the middle of nowhere in the state.
Right.
Honestly, might be able to stop there because we're going to Indianapolis in July. And then that following weekend, I'm going home to New York. I could just fucking drive, stop there, and then carry on to visit home.
And she'll whoop on everybody too.
You're not missing much in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, I've been, so I know.
Yeah.
I'm a Northeasterner. I understand.
We'll figure something out. Well, come visit us too, Shannon. You're welcome, obviously, anytime, and we'd love to have you guys. And bring your wife. Maybe she can train with us. We won't beat her up. Yeah.
Well, obviously, John didn't tell you that I'm absolutely terrified of airplanes. I'm not an outside guy. I'm an inside air conditioned guy. I'm terrified to fly. So it's like, I would love it, but I'll never survive that flight.
I love it. Mallory will give you a ride back when she's coming through.
Yeah. If there's a train, like a bullet train,
there you go.
I'll do it. But it's like, even going to Vegas, like my wife has to do what's called snow me. It's like a medical term for like sedate me pretty much on the plane because I'll freak out. Like I'm just so terrified of flying. you know, people make fun of me all the time. It's like, oh, you're a jiu-jitsu black belt. Like, oh, you must be really tough. And it's like, no.
It's
Like,
super common,
I'm afraid
though.
of everything. I'm afraid of heights. I don't like to
Yes.
fly. I don't like snakes. I don't know. I'm out. I don't like the open water.
Neither do I.
I'm not.
I hate it.
I'm not an
So
outside person.
I guess we won't see you out on the coast
Shannon's not
anytime
gonna come and
soon.
visit us. We'll
The
come to
East
you.
Coast. The East Coast. Because I can drive to it, but
Oh, perfect.
All right, we're gonna let you go about your day, but thank you so much for coming on. This has actually been great.
This has been fun. So we appreciate
I
you.
appreciate you guys.
Have
Yeah,
a
guys,
great night at class.
Take care,
Yep.
Shannon.
Thank you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Check us out on Instagram at chokeholdsandchillpod or shoot us a message at chokeholdsandchillpod@gmail.com.